Hey guys, and welcome to Amazing Chinese Characters with Skylar. So continuing on from my last video about mountain related things, today we're going to do the character for stone, 石. So to begin with, its hieroglyphic form as an oracle bone inscription looked like this. So the rectangular shape represented a stone beneath the triangular side view of a cliff face. And then the cliff figure was simplified from 3 to 2 strokes and bronze inscriptions. Next, in seal script, the corners of all of the strokes were rounded, but the structure wasn't changed. After that came clerical script. The round corners were sharpened out. The character became flat and wide, and the left falling stroke, which used to be one continuous stroke, gained a kink in the middle. In running script, speedy writing necessitated the connection of the uppermost horizontal stroke with the left falling stroke. The stroke order was first the horizontal, which was written from left to right, then followed by the left falling stroke, which was written from top to bottom. But this way, the writer would have to move the brush back to the left to write the second stroke. So the left falling stroke was connected directly to the end of the horizontal. And the same thing happened with the rectangular representation of the stone. So the brush had to be lifted and moved for the horizontal stroke after writing the turning stroke. So those were connected into one. And finally comes regular script, where the position of the left falling stroke has finally been determined through a compromise between leftmost and rightmost. So now we've talked about the evolution of the character's form, now let's write it in 3 different scripts. Okay, so first let's write it in regular script. So this is the character for 石 in regular script, and is comprised of a horizontal stroke, a left falling stroke, a short vertical stroke, a turning stroke, and finally a short horizontal stroke. So note that the left falling stroke here is different from the one that I've written in Yue, the character for moon. So in Yue, the left falling stroke, so at the beginning, it's almost like a vertical stroke. So at the beginning, it's completely vertical. It only starts turning towards the left at the end. But for this stroke, you can see that it's like it continuously points 45 degrees towards the left here. So you need to move it continuously towards the left, just not only at the end. And a bit more about the structure. So the spaces between these 3 horizontal strokes should be even as usual, and the stroke termination for this stroke and these 2, they should line up as well as this on the left, and this will make it look tidy and make it look very orderly. And next, let's write it in running script. So in my opinion, it is rather harder to write it in running script than in regular script. Well, the strokes are basically the same as you can see here, except for this one, which in regular script used to be a turning stroke and a horizontal stroke, but in running script has been combined into one, as I've mentioned before in its evolution. And this is because people needed to write it with more speed, so they combined it. And as you probably saw, writing this instead of 2 strokes is actually faster. And a few more about its structure. So you can write it like this. So with the first horizontal stroke very hard, and I mean very hard and very thick and heavy. But there's also other ways to write it. So I'm just showing one way for you to write it. And for this left falling stroke, you should prepare yourself fully here. So you can press your brush down hard and then prepare for it to sort of like bounce across the page and to create this left falling stroke and to make it look more flowing. And finally, this stroke at the end, which is the short horizontal one. So this short horizontal stroke, you shouldn't lift up in the middle, like in like normal horizontal stroke. You should just, after you finish writing this, you should just press down towards the end to give it a hard and to give it a forceful ending. And finally, let's write it in clerical script. So it's significantly different from these two. And well, the left falling stroke here actually is more like the left falling stroke in Moon Yue, because it starts out vertical and then turns towards the left at the end. And as you can see, the left turning part is quite long, almost, it's actually longer than the vertical part, so keep that in mind. And well, again, the spaces in between are supposed to be the same, and the ends should line up, and the entire structure should be flatter and wider. So everyone, this is 3 ways to write the Chinese character for stone 10. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for staying until the end, and I'll see you next time.